You have 1 week's notice before you forcibly time travel, with no way back. You will arrive in the same physical location on the 1st of January 1970 with absolutely nothing, nude. How do you prepare, and what do you do when you arrive? I try to avoid my 4-year-old self. Hey little skepticler, I've got some candy for ya. 1 week, 1970, nude. I live in Eugene, Oregon. I'm good. Lol same, though my skin color could take it either way to be honest. Everybody's planning on what they'll do when they go back in time, but I just spent the last week here really freaking some crap up in the present. Do some push-ups. Go to look good nude. My house has been here for 120 years. Hopefully whoever lived here on the date is nice and understanding. My house was built in 1974. If I was in bed when this happened, I'd fall about 20 feet into a cornfield and get cut by a broken Pepsi bottle. We think the original farmer who owned the land loved Pepsi, cause 60s Pepsi bottles keep surfacing in our yard whenever the rain washes some soil away. Terminator rules how I memorize enough to set myself up as insanely rich and then I get some period currency and put it in my mouth seconds before I leave. Terminator rules says if it's covered in flesh it goes with you. I would not acknowledge any date before 1970 to 190101 and pretend to be a Unix machine. I'd find it awesome that I'd start at 0 in Unix time, presumably, at least no later than 86,399. Lots of good ideas for getting rich in this thread, but we're ignoring the easiest way to avoid the initial awkwardness. Go to the beach, and after you're zapped back in time just pretend that the tide washed away your clothes and wallet while you were swimming. I'd just pretend to be a tourist who hitchhiked from another state a couple hours before. It's 1970. Even if the police get involved to help, they can't easily check interstate records to verify your story. Get a clean set of clothes. Perform odd jobs to afford a bus ticket, then implement any of these other excellent plans. Better yet, go to a historically nudist beach and steal someone's clothes from a locker. That covers the no clothes bit completely and more thoroughly. Before I go, I'll dig up the journal I buried half a century ago to see which of my preparations worked the best. I'll also give some of the gold I buried to my friends and family before I go. This guy time loops. Find a random odd job to make a few dollars in the next 11 days and get whatever I get on the Chiefs in Super Bowl IV. They were a 23-point underdog. You can also bet for Miami in every game in 1972 and then follow that up with huge bets for Secretariat in 1973. For those saying lottery, in the US, most state lotteries didn't start until the 80s. The US was also in a massive recession and stagflation with super high interest rates. So the idea of making a killing in the stock market is also out the window, at least until the 80s. You are better off memorizing sporting events, getting to Vegas and betting on those. In a lot of these threads, it's pondered that you'd have to watch out for the feds getting curious about you winning lotteries and stock picks. I guess in this one, better watch out for the mob. I slowly walk up to a group of punks and say, your clothes. Give them to me, now. Give me your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. Memorize a bunch of lotto numbers. Find out where my best friend's mom lived in 1970. Become her high school sweetheart. Eventually marry her, and become the father of my best friend. Checkmate Adam. Hey Adam, I fricked your mom. Kiss my butt. No, seriously, check out these DNA test results. I'm in China right now. Crap. Try Northern Vietnam. 1 week. Research sports games, lottery drawings, stock prices, etc. On the last day, get my butt kicked. Nothing permanent, but I have to look bad. When I get there, I pretend that I've been left for dead and don't remember my name. I get processed as a John Doe. I get a new job, earn some money, and start investing and betting. You may want to do some memento style tattoos of lottery numbers or stocks. Memorize lottery numbers, stock market stuff, and major crimes. Use the financial info to form my own task force group to stop the crimes from happening. Stuff like the Girl Scout murders and the East Area rapist. Plot twist, all the crimes were done by your past self. I become taken by dictator police and sent to prison, likely, if not worse. Expelled. Go to a biker's bar and ask for a jacket, pants and a bike with a thick Austrian accent. Nice night for a walk. All I know is that I'm finding a way to go to all the Led Zeppelin concerts. Also have 9 months to see Hendrix. I would create and memorize a cipher. I would use the cipher to tattoo onto my body, sports victories, stock and commodity movements, etc. The obvious, first memorize lottery numbers near the date, then the stock market a few years forward. Read some history on what I missed since 1970 and spend the rest of the time learning as much science and technology discovered since. Then ready I go. Edit. And I think it was one of the scenario of SG1 or another show. Terrible idea. You winning one would change all the others by moving up the date of the next picking on the next lotto. Better idea. Memorize Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, and Google's tickers. Tattoo any special occurrences. Get a shitty factory job and buy property in California and San Francisco. Amass your fortune. It's 1970. I'm freaking anything with a pulse. You accidentally create AIDS. Good job. Read as much as I could on my country's history of the 50s and 60s. Figure out a backstory that would withstand the back checks possible at the time. Simple. 1. Hide in a cave for 42 years. 2. Invest in Bitcoin. 3. Profit. I am sure your cave stones will be a great currency for investing in Bitcoin. I would likely die because I would be falling about 15 feet before splashing into the Mississippi River in the nude. There is almost nothing near here now, so there must be absolutely nothing in the 70s. I'd immediately find a building that used to be there in the 1970s but isn't here anymore, so I can stand there and be killed instantly by the concrete occupying the same space as my body when I leap back. Step 1. Find a department store with a good men's clothing section, tool department, luggage department, etc. I want to be teleported in there. I'm the dead of night and get dressed to the nines. Have a week's worth of clothes and a variety of high-end stuff. Use the register to print out receipts for all of it, because I'm going to drive across town in my newly stolen car and return it all for cash. Take the cash and bet it all on bowl game outcomes. Buy a small cottage and start investing like mad. Study business and investing. Pre-plagiarize a few novels and movie scripts. Come the mid-1970s, wander out to San Jose and start befriending geeks with great ideas who just need some seed money to get running. Offer them pointers and ideas. Get mad rich. Start befriending politicians and influencing policy as best I can. Start a secret side business running C, but get out of that before it gets too dangerous. It's all for seed money anyway. By 1990 I'll be pushing 70. I'll find myself, make him my heir, encourage him to finish school and prepare him to take over my business empire. I'll tell him everything he needs to know about the tech landscape of the 1990s, 2000s, and 2010s. And tell him that under no circumstances is he to frick around with time machines or girls named Sharon, no matter how cute their accent is. I can't get enough of these responses that don't immediately address being nude, lol. I would be in a unique position to stop several very catastrophic events from happening to my family. My father, grandfather and I have the same name. Coincidentally, I'm around my father's age today that he would have been in 1970. He started the family later on in life. I look just like them, and we're an immigrant family. It won't be difficult to get them to believe I'm the latest in the wave of cousins from the old country. First things first, I'll go to the corner of my small hometown's main street where my grandfather had his clothing store. I'll try to eyeball where the fitting room was. I have a week to prepare. Someone in my family should remember the layout or have a picture. The store itself has been gone for years, sadly. When the time travel activates, I'll appear naked in a fitting room on New Year's Day, maybe at night. Maybe the store is closed, or I'll have to hope I get lucky and there's no one there. Time to grab some clothes and necessities, then walk the short distance to my family home about 2 miles down that same road and start the adventure. 1. My grandfather died young because he was in a car accident on a foggy night. I can tell him not to go or delay him somehow. Even a few seconds difference and he probably survives. 2. My great uncle died of a heart attack that was probably preventable. I'll maybe suggest some health alternatives that could save him. 3. My family suffered a pretty significant split due to my other great uncle's actions, which split his part of the family's law firm into 2 competing firms and caused some big issues later on. I can prevent that from happening, I think, by preventing one explosive argument. 4. At the time, my family owned some beachfront property at what is now a very popular beach. I'll get them to make sure to buy and keep as much of that property as they can instead of the small parcel they still have today. 5. Mom's side of the family had issues. 2. With some luck, I can change a few events that caused them problems, and continue to cause problems now. I'm not aware of the issues I can change as clearly here, but there is some substance abuse that really destroyed part of the family and I can prevent that from happening. I want to be clear that my family is awesome and great, and has recovered from some of these bad things that happened decades ago, but it would be great if those bad things didn't happen, and, if I'm honest, I've always wanted to meet my paternal grandparents. My father and I have the same name. I'm around my father's age today that he would have been in 1970. Sounds like you'd wind up being your own father. Me. Hi future mother. Hi now dead grandparents. Don't worry, I didn't mess the timeline. Run to the police station and say I was robbed and forced to strip and everything, and I was homeless since birth, that's why I don't have a social security or anything. Then request a leads to a charity that will help me and everything. Then get a job, take advantage of boomer advantages, buy a house, car, start a family, and live the life I dream of. Oh, and rock out to early rock. I'd ask Reddit. Get all important information tattooed on my body, then strive to put right what once went wrong, and hope each time that my next leap will be the leap home. Break into a lab that holds samples of older diseases and vaccinate myself against every strain from 1970 I can find. Like every conversation I've ever had about time travel ends up being about the immune system and the evolution and adaptation of diseases. If you were to travel any more than a few years into the past or future, your immune system would be vastly unprepared for the bacteria and viruses it would be bombarded with. Diseases, I feel, an issue with time travel that people don't really consider. That or you are the start of an epidemic. Time to find the IBM 5100. Cry because I just missed Woodstock. This would have been better with the 31st of December 1969 date, like all the files on my hard drive. As it so happens, that's exactly the same way I arrived in 1970 the first time. I'm so ready for this. You've been visited by the good policy grandpa. You will be blessed with good economics and healthcare, but only if you comment sleep well burner. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check out another video, or don't. Either way, have a great day you magnificent people.